and welcome to Down to Earth. Well, it's that time of year when we're starting to think about the frost coming up. We may have our first frost very soon. So viewers are wanting to know how to protect their plants from the frost. Gardeners, we think a lot about the weather, and importantly so. We may have lost a lot of our agaves last year, but some of them we were able to protect and keep through the winter, which can be done. It's challenging to do it properly, but it can be done. You do want to cover your plants with a light sheet or a blanket and not plastic. But also, very importantly, you want to anchor that, whatever you put over the plant, to the ground. You want to make sure that no air comes in around the bottom of the plant. That's very important. We are lucky in that it only usually gets bitter cold for just a few hours. It doesn't stay cold for very long during the night. It normally gets cold towards the morning, and then the sun comes up and we warm up very quickly. You do want to cover your plants late in the day and remove that covering the next morning when we get a little bit of sun. We're also lucky in that respect in that our winters are fairly sunny, so that you can let the ground and the plant warm back up. You do want to water well around your plants, but you don't want to get the soil soaking wet, and you don't want to get any water on your plants. That water may freeze on the leaves. Your perennial plants, you want to mulch those to protect the roots. Things like roses, which you can protect the canes. So go ahead and mulch those up fairly tall with organic mulch if we're going to get cold at night. Your larger plants and your trees can be more challenging, such as the citrus. But if these are well-established, mature trees, they do have a lot of carbohydrates in their trunk system that they can come back from if we don't have cold for very long. Again, you want to cover those with some sort of sheet or blanket, if at all possible, and anchor that to the ground. I know that's not always possible with a tree. Our plant this week is rocket larkspur, Delphinium ajacis. This plant was sent in by Melissa at the Xanthan Gardens blog, and she has had great success, and I would consider her the mother of larkspur in our community. She's given everyone lots of seeds. This is an annual wildflower, and you do want to plant it from seed when nights are cool, so this is the perfect time of year. Between 50 and 60 degrees at night is the perfect time for this seedling. The seeds are very small, but they don't have to be exactly spaced across the ground, so you can broadcast them the way you would other wildflowers. These do look best in masses, so something like a meadow area or a bed that you're going to allow this plant to fill in completely. There's a gorgeous range of flower colors from pale to vibrant pink and blue. It does like full sunlight, but can also take full shade. Very well-drained soil is important for this plant. If you want to collect and store the seed for next year, that's easy to do, or you can allow the plant to reseed itself and cut it back in the winter of next year. It gets about 6 feet tall, very wide, very tall, but only about 12 inches wide. But they do fill in nicely into colonies, so be careful with watering. In the summer, you may notice these plants will wilt, but you don't want to overwater them because then they will rot because there's not much air circulation. To do in your garden this week, plant perennial strawberries or fertilize those strawberries if you already have them. We'd love to hear from you. Please visit klru.org/ctg to send us your question or a plant of the week from your garden.